It's 89 days to the presidential and parliamentary elections here in Ghana. Wherever you are, this is the Pulse on Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. My name is Elton Brobe, and as always, a pleasure to have you here. Well, this afternoon is a big day for politics as persons aspiring to contest the 2024 presidential election file nominations to firm up their interest. The MPP's Dr. Bawumia, the NDC John Mahama, and 4 others filed today in an exercise that could see as many as 30 candidates express interest in the vote. And of course, we've got the details, plus take you live to the office of the Electoral Commission to bring the very latest on this matter. Also, we are live in Walewale in the Northeast region, where the MPP is electing a parliamentary candidate in the rerun of that vote held a few months ago. We are live there for the updates. And as politics takes over the news today, we feed the Galamsey crisis into it, analyzing the link between politics and illegal mining. It's your show, and you can have your say as well. And as always, the Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities Zigilu, affordable, safe sanitation for all. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and myjoyonline.com for these and more. My name is Elton Brobe, and we'll come back. We'll zoom straight into your election headquarters. Welcome back. This is a Pulse here on Joy News. Get interactive with us via social media handles because we are live there. We are live on Facebook, we are live on X, we are live on myjoyonline.com, and of course on YouTube. Now today, as many as 9 presidential aspirants filed their bid to cap possibly 30 strong presidential candidates for the 2024 polls. Now you can imagine the length of the ballot paper on December 7th. We'll get to hear from them and their representatives shortly. Some of the candidates today and the political scientists on a wild chase for the presidency. Right now, let me take you live to the office of the Electoral Commission, where my colleagues Jacqueline Ansuma and James Abaji, they've been monitoring activities there. Let me bring them in, Jackie and James. So you've been there since morning. You started with Dr. Bawumia. Tell us what we missed.
You would want to come again. I lost you briefly.
Right, so I just want to understand what we've missed so far from morning since you pitch come there and up until now. What has been the story?
Well, Elton, good afternoon to all our viewers and live from the EC headquarters here on day one of the filing of nomination. We have been expecting 9 candidates to file their nominations, and so far 8 of them have filed those nominations already. And we told that we are done for the day. Just gone by was the NDC, who have filed their nomination, led by General Secretary for the party, Johnson Asedun Ketia. He led the NDC to file their nomination, as well as the chairman of the party, Johnson Asedun Ketia. He is the just outgone General Secretary, also accompanied by the now substantive General Secretary of the party, Fifi Fiavi Kwete, and the Director of Elections of the party, Dr. Bawumia. They have concluded the day for us here at the election headquarters, also followed by tens of party supporters. Jackie has been on that beat, gauging the mood of the party supporters and all of that. And if you are not following our social media handles, you would want to get there just as after we finish this to get all the insight over there. Jackie, let's talk about the flag bearer of the LPG, Kofi Akpaloo. It's been interesting. Most of the candidates, some of them have paid all the 100,000 Ghana cedis filing fees. But he had some excuse to the NDC, to the EC. Let's start from there.
Yes, so he said that he had to divide them into 4 installments, which is 30, 30, 30, 10, because he couldn't get the 100,000 in just a single document. So he had to divide them. So we've been getting some reactions on social media. People have been sharing with us that, well, if they think they are not up for it, they could just give the money to other people to start business with. But then apart from that, other interesting conversations that we've had, you know, some of the independent candidates raising conversations that we shouldn't be addressing them as independent candidates. They directly told the EC and also specifically to the media.
That's George Berma,
yes,
who is an independent candidate.
Yes.
That's not happy with the fact that we've been calling them independent. Did he give any suggestions so far?
Well, he says that when we address them as independent candidates, Ghanaians do not really see them as capable to lead them, and they lack supporters when we use the word independent candidates. So moving forward, we should just address them as just presidential candidates and remove the word, just substitute the word independent candidates. Yeah.
Well, Elton, let me come back. Let's go back to the EC chairperson. Those explanations about, especially from the LPG, where Kofi Akpaloo's team says that they have paid 30,000 Ghana cedis. The rest, 70,000 cedis. They will pay the rest in 3 more installments, the 30, 30, and then 10. Is because the EC has some ground rules for the game. The EC chairperson, Jean Mensah, anytime the candidates appear before her, goes through some of those rules. Let's hear from her what the rules are for the game as far as the filing, the vetting, and the qualification into the election is.
For receiving my nomination this morning. Finding time to see it, we really appreciate it. And we know for sure we'll be number 1 on the ballot. And I want all Ghanaians to rally high LPG, vote for Akpaloo to be the next president of Ghana. God bless you and bless everyone.
Right, so James, I'm interested. Tell us what the EC chairperson said in relation to the ground rules set by the EC as far as this matter is concerned.
Well, Elton, you know that after the filing today would be vetting of the filing forms of the various candidates, where there may be some disqualifications or approval of the candidates to get a green light to go into the election. Now, a few things are supposed to accompany the filing forms, some of which include the endorsement of the candidate by at least two, registered voters of the parties in the various district assemblies. And so we have about 216 districts across the country. And so that number multiplied by 2, which is about some 432, are supposed to endorse all of the candidates each before they submit that to the EC. Second is the fact that before you submit your filing form, you need to declare or have a running mate going into the election. And so every candidate is expected to come along with data on their running mate, who they are, and going into the election. That was also expected to be submitted together with the forms. Other things including background check with the Ghana Police Service, the CID, which is criminal background check of the candidate. We also have an audited report of the assets of the various candidates. You know the issue about asset declaration and public offices and how some of them do not do that going into a public office. The EC has made it mandatory that before you file for your nomination, you need to actually get your asset valuated and bring an official copy from the Auditor General to back you before you go into that. And so those are some of the requirements of the EC going into it. Now, the EC said, moving forward, initially we know that a committee is set up to vet all of these papers, the forms and all of that. This year, the EC is saying that they have set up 2 different committees to look into the files of the nominees. For instance, both the presidential candidate as well as the running mate, you have 2 different committees who will look into it. Reason being that the EC would want to do all of this, inform the candidates of any potential breach, any correction they would have to make on their nomination forms, give them the ample time to correct that. And so the promise is that committees will be working on the vetting of the forms, and then they will relay back to the candidates on any possible changes before Friday, so that none of them is caught in the web as we move forward. Jackie, let's talk about Hassan Ayariga.
Yeah.
Key issue, especially we have been championing over the years. Erastus Asaredonko has been on that beat. His latest investigation have brought up one major conversation about Galamsey.
Yeah.
When Hassan Ayariga submitted his form, he's been talking about that.
Yeah, so before the mining issue, he spoke about the fact that his disqualification in 2016, he felt that it was very personal and it wasn't a technical issue, even though he sent in a letter to the former EC to tell her that sometimes there can be issues with signatures, which we all know about that issue in 2016. But then apart from that, just as you are saying, he spoke about mining, saying that it's become a very critical issue, and when he comes into power, he's going to scrap it off entirely. No mining in Ghana. An interesting one right there.
No mining in Ghana until all the issues are resolved. Elton, I'm sure now is the time to listen to Dr. Bawumia, presidential candidate for the NPP, who filed his nomination. He was the first person, and I must say that it looks like almost all the candidates are time conscious this time around, because Dr. Bawumia and his team arrived here about 8:50, 8:55, even before the 9 o'clock when they were supposed to file their nomination. Now, he filed his nomination. He was accompanied by, I call them, the entire machinery of the NPP. Talk about the chairman of the party, Mr. Stephen Ntim, General Secretary Justin Kodua. Talk about the former, even the immediate past chairman of the party, Freddie Blay, was also part of it. The legislature have also been represented, led by the majority leader, Alexander Apanyo-Makin, Director of Elections, former Director of Elections, Peter McMenu. When we come back, I'll tell you something interesting from Mr. Peter McMenu about the call the NDC is making about discrepancies in the voter register. But first, let's listen to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is committing himself to peace as he calls on all Ghanaians to support the EC in this crucial time to deliver a credible, fair election to us on December 7.
For the opportunity, and for me it is personally a very historic opportunity to submit these forms for the first time as a presidential candidate. I want to pray and ask that we all pray for God's blessings for our dear country, Ghana, because we are embarked on this process, which is an election, and these are part of the processes towards the December 7th election. And we need God to continue to bless our country. What we are trying to do is to help uplift our country. We don't want to tear down our country. And so it's very important that our country is uplifted after the election. And in this context, I believe that our prayers and our behaviors as we go through and our conduct will be very, very important to ensure that this process is very peaceful at the end of the day. I believe also that we should pray for the Electoral Commission. They do a very, very difficult job, probably the most difficult job, because whenever you go into an election, you're either going to win or lose, and usually the EC is the scapegoat for people who may not have won. So we want to pray that the good Lord strengthens them, gives them the wisdom. Pray for the chairperson, the deputies, and the staff all the way through, the returning officers, presiding officers, all the staff who engage in this very difficult task. I believe the EC will live up to the task. Historically, I think Ghana is in a very enviable position as far as the conduct of elections are concerned.
Well, the Electoral Commission, they have their own set of rules and conditions that the parties must meet before their nomination can go to the 1992 Constitution is quite clear on the criteria that one must conform to before that person can stand to be elected as president. And it's just two rules. You must be of 40 years and above and of sound mind. The Electoral Commission have added their own set of rules to make it more binding. Let's listen to the chairperson of the EC as he laid down the rules.
Regulation 7 of CI 127 enjoins a presidential candidate to complete and sign 4 copies of the nomination forms. Additionally, the forms are to be signed by no less than 2 persons who are registered voters in the area of authority of each district assembly. By law, the presidential candidate is also required to designate a person to serve as his or her vice presidential candidate. Further, the presidential candidate is required to deliver the forms to the Commission on the date prescribed by the Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of the Commission's efforts to ensure a transparent, credible, and accountable process, the Commission has developed a detailed checklist that embodies the criteria to be satisfied by presidential candidates as prescribed by law. The checklist will guide the scoring and awarding of marks by teams established by the Commission to scrutinize and review each nomination form submitted.
So according to the EC chairperson, the checklist will lead to the award of marks. I don't know how they are going to do this and what kind of marks one needs to garner before that person can be cleared to contest the presidential elections. Kofi Apalu is here. He is the presidential aspirant of the LPG, and he's going to help. Perhaps he understands these marks that the EC has set upon itself that the aspirants must meet before they can be cleared to contest the elections. We'll have that discussion pretty shortly. Let me take you back to the Electoral Commission headquarters. James Abaji and Jackie are still standing by. The NDC also made an entry through the national chair of the party and later addressed the media. So, James, as we wrap up today, nine parties were expected. I don't know whether all of them made it. What is to come tomorrow?
Right, Elton, so 8 of them have filed so far. One hasn't been able to file. Tomorrow, one candidate is expected to file. But the communication we are getting from the EC is that they may postpone that to Wednesday, so he joined the Wednesday team. But so far, these are the 8 who have filed as far as today is concerned. First was the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, ran a candidate, actually flag bearer of the NPP, Kofi Akpaloo, who you have there with you for the LPG, who is hoping that he gets the #1 slot on the ballot paper to guarantee victory for him in the 2024 election. Nana Kwame Bediako Cheddar has also filed. Christian Kwabena Andrews of the Ghana Union movement have also filed. Samuel Apia Dankwa, as well as George Chumberima. Dr. Hassan Ayariga has also filed his nomination to contest the election. The last is John Dramani Mahama of the NDC. Now, Elton, let's end on the note about the conversation about the NDC have been raising in the past few days about some discrepancies in the voter register. Friday, they met with the EC. They are calling for forensic investigation into the voter register. I spoke with the former director of election for the NPP, Mr. Peter McMenu, put that to him. He believes that the NDC must be left to fight their own battle because in 2015-2016, when they raised similar issue for which a committee was constituted to look into the issue and all of that, the NDC called their bluff. They didn't have anything to care about as far as their concerns were concerned. And so now that it is their turn, he believes that they need to be left to fight their own battle. Chairman of the party, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, after he filed the nomination on behalf of John Dramani Mahama, addressed the press. Now, he said that they are giving the EC between now and the 17th of this month to heed to their call for the forensic audit into the voter register. Failure for which they will take to the street to do a nationwide demonstration across the country in all the regional capital of the 16 regions across the country to drum home their demands.
Here, and you, the media people, were with some of our people who intercepted and retrieved one of the stolen BVDs. So far, we don't have any response. We don't have any feedback as to how the progress is being made on the case involving those who allegedly have been arrested here at your commission and so on. This all generates some amount of, cloud suspicion and all that. And so those of you who have been asking us, if they don't comply, what would you do? This is your answer. On the 17th of this month, the NDC is embarking on a massive nationwide demonstration in all 16 regional capitals. Descend on the Electoral Commission offices, and we in Accra will descend to the headquarters and present further petitions as to why we think that they should conduct themselves in a manner that will guarantee peaceful, free, and fair elections.
So that there is the national chair of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, indicating the party will embark on a series of demonstrations to force the Electoral Commission to undertake a forensic audit of the voters' register. So that's how the day obviously is ending at the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. But let's come to the studio. I'll also be speaking to Kofi Tonto with the Governing New Patriotic Party, Sami Jemfi, Communication Officer with the NDC, Dr. Hassan Ayariga of the APC, and of course in the studio is my own brother Kofi Akpalu with the LPG. Kofi, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Right, so I mean, I'm curious to know why the number one sport is so important to you.
Oh, this election, the moment you get number one, it means you are winning.
Really?
Yes. So it's very, very important.
All right, so Kofi Tonto, good afternoon, welcome to the pulse. So Dr. Bawumia was the first to do so. I mean, what is the level of confidence going into the elections? Right, so we don't have Kofi here. We'll bring Kofi on together with also Sami Jemfi. But Dr. Hassan Ayariga also is the presidential aspirant of the APC, hoping that he will be cleared to contest the 2024 election. Dr. Ayariga, you're welcome to the pulse here on Joy News. And how smooth was the exercise today?
Good afternoon, your viewers and listeners. I think the exercise was very smooth. I was scheduled to appear 11:30. I got there exactly 11:35, and I think there was an independent candidate who was there in 5. So we waited until it was 2 o'clock, and after the 2 o'clock, then I mean they were about leaving when they said that they came out and said, Mr. Ayariga, we have closed, but since you are here and you are scheduled for 11:30, we have no option than to take you in, or you have to wait until 2 p.m. And I told them, now, I've been here for some time now, waiting to be called, but you had, your own arrangement and delay. So I don't think I wish to go and come back. So they called, they said, okay, Madam Jean Mensah was so kind and asked that we wait. So we waited for 5 minutes, and then later on she called back and said that we can come in and file our nomination. So we went and filed. Ours was very short because we're kind of, extra time kind of filing. I didn't want to talk. All I said was that I wish them well. I know they don't expect machines and equipment to run these elections. But we in the APC, no doubt we will accept a little or minor, mistakes. But not that we are machines. We are not rubber stamps. We cannot be 100% perfect because we do not have a perfect system. We don't have a national data system that is perfect. We are struggling with Ghana card and all that data that we have at the Electoral Commission, using Ghana card to register the people. It's not a perfect system.
Right.
So definitely there will be some inches. But we were pledged to run this campaign before, during, and after peacefully. So we pledged to the Electoral Commission and we asked her to do her best, a maximum effort to make sure that this election is peacefully, fair, and transparent.
So I'm curious to know the personal issues that forced you out of the 2016 elections.
The personal issue that forced me out was an issue of, I didn't see it as a technical knockout, but I saw it as a personal issue between Madame Charlotte Osei and myself. Because if you look at my documents in 2016, there was no mistake. Madame Charlotte Osei was of the view that some people's signatures did not tally. And I told them, Madam, this is your letters, 4 different letters you've sent to me. And out of these 4 letters, none of them is perfect. Your signatures are not perfect. And I reminded her, the signatures are not rubber stamp, where you can just stamp them and have it perfect. You can sign your own signature. And even sometimes you sign a signature and the bank calls you back and say, oh, Chief, this is your signature that you signed. Are you the one who signed it? And you have to say, yes, I'm the one who did it. It has happened to me severally. I'm sure probably it has happened to you.
Right.
So this was not a technical knockout for me, but rather a personal knockout, because in 2016, when they did the survey, what they realized was that I had put 275 officers in the various communities. And most of the NDC guys who were very, very upset with their ruling party then decided to go with Hassan Ayariga. So Hassan Ayariga in 2016 was a threat to the NDC and not to any other party. So for them, the easiest way was to make sure that Hassan Ayariga doesn't contest. So even in calling the disqualified political parties, If you look, you realize that it was Hassan Yariga name that was mentioned.
Right.
Not any other party. And I mean, this is not my first time running for president. In 2012, I did it. How can I qualify in 2012 under Afarajan? And then 2016, I come to a new EC boss, and he says, no, your documentations are not right, they are not perfect, the signatory are not the same. I mean, that is technically not acceptable.
Right. I'll come back to Dr. Hassan Yariga because, I mean, I made reference to the 1992 Constitution, which was clear the conditions that one must meet before one can put himself up to contest the presidency. But the EC, they've added their own to it. All the political parties appear to have accepted this as the way to go. Kofi, so, you know, fundraising is a key, you know, attribute of a politician seeking to, you know, assume the highest office of the land everywhere, the US, and how many money you can raise actually put you in a very good position. Yet, I'm surprised that you are unable to raise 100,000 Ghana cedis as of now, and you want to pay this in installments?
No. I think the guy who reported it didn't understand what my director of election was saying. Mm-hmm. What he was trying to say is that the 100,000, we couldn't get it on one check sheet.
Right.
Okay. So we have to write it in 4 sheets, on 4 sheets. Mm-hmm. 30,000 on 3 sheets and 10,000 on the other sheet. Mm-hmm. That was what he was trying.
Oh, so you presented 100,000 cedis today, but all of them not contained on one
sheet. Yes.
So you paid 100,000.
Oh yes. EC wouldn't have accepted our nomination if we had not come with the 100,000. No, 100,000 is less than $7,000. So it's not anything.
It's not. But the conditions that the EC is hoping that all of you meet.
Yeah.
You're okay with it?
Oh, I'm 100% certain that there won't be any mistake on my form. No, it will marvel me to have one mistake on my form. No, because everything is, we try to do it perfectly well to avoid go and come, you know. We don't want that. So we took our time to fill the forms. So everything, to me, to the best of my knowledge, is perfect.
This wouldn't be the first time you will find your name and picture on the ballot paper. That is if you are cleared to go.
No, I will be cleared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yet you are yet to realize this ambition.
Yeah.
So what really is the motivation if the road to the Jubilee House seems so far from you?
No, it's not far. I'm going to be the next president of this country. I'll win this election. This election, I'll win it.
How?
Oh, how? I mean, it's campaign. You go around and campaign. Talk to the people. Give them good message for them to vote for you. And the message is clear. Every child in Ghana is going to receive child benefit. How many kids do you have yourself?
1.
Oh, you will get only 500 cedis every month. Like myself, I have 6 kids, you know. Yeah, you get 3,000 cedis. If you are lucky and you have twins, it's 750 per child, you know. So we're going to put money directly into people's pocket to enable them to buy goods and services. And then those who are encouraged. Yes, and those who are unemployed,
I think
we pay them.
Dr. Hassan Yariga wants to get your attention. Dr. Hassan,
no. Allow me to. They don't. It should wait because you know we went there.
Asking whether you are encouraging people to give birth more.
Yeah, it's good because God is encouraging us to have more kids. I do agree with me. Those who are against childbirth are those who are supporting LGBTQ. You understand? So if you want children, why should you do family planning? So we should encourage people to have more kids because children are very, very important.
There are those who look at you and say that you speak more for the MPP than even your own political party.
Today, have I said anything that will...
But you appear to side with a lot of the policies.
No, if you do something good, should I close my eye and say, no, it's no good? I'm not that kind of politician. I'm not a wizard. Okay, I'm somebody who, if it's true, I'll say true. If it's no, I'll say no. I will not say things anyhow. Because you see, whatever you say today, tomorrow, you'll be asked the same thing, and then you say, oh no, that time I didn't think about it. It's like Hassan Yariga just said, that he went there at 11:35. He was giving 11:30. You see, a whole leader, you went to the place 5 minutes late. It's wrong. Somebody was living in Germany, and you know you should respect time. You have to be there at least 11:20. Okay, 10 minutes so that I can prepare and meet them. But they went there late, and then you see. So that's by the side. But what I want to tell you is that I'm a different person. I believe in time, and I believe in honesty, and I believe that whatever you are doing today, you are going to be judged tomorrow.
Just 1 second, let me bring in Dr. Ayariga. You have a response for Mr. Apalu?
I think that Mr. Apalu is confused a bit when it comes to timing. Yeah, I think he's confused a bit when it comes to timing. I got there at the exact, but to get to the place, there were number of cars that were blocked. So I finally got there at 11:35 because we came in a very huge spot. Not like Apalu who got there and he and his wife and his running mate. We got there in a convoy about 20 to 25 vehicles, including
but the question is that you should have been seated before 11:30.
And motorbikes, we went there as a team. So if there's a little bit traffic on the way and we are a bit late by 2-3 minutes, I don't think that
No, this man can manage this, Ghana.
In actual sense, when we got there, we waited until we were called. Now, the point here is that all you need to know is that the APC is poised to win this election. We're not encouraging unemployment. We are also not encouraging Ghanaians to give birth, even though Akpali knows that unemployment benefit. We started talking about unemployment benefit way in 2012, before he started contesting elections. It's in our manifesto. So if he's talking about benefits to, unemployed people, it's good. But it's a policy that we've championed it for a very long time, and we are still working on that. But the point here is that the EC has asked political parties to pay 100,000 Ghanaians.
Right.
I view that it is huge for the Ghanaian citizens, because you are looking at the per capita income of the Ghanaian citizens, and you are looking at the salary of Ghanaian workers. And you cannot say that we are selling our presidency to the highest bidder.
But Dr. Ayariga, in terms of how much money you require to prosecute a very good campaign and possibly win the election, 100,000 should be the least of it.
Exactly.
Exactly. But the point here is that, are we running a campaign of more people with more money than more brains, or are we running a campaign of people with more brains than money? Okay. So for me, we want to encourage multi-party democracy. And encouraging multi-party democracy, the filing fees should be less. In any case, you look at this scenario. The NDC and the MPP get all the monies they file back, including their presidential and their parliamentary. Why will the Electoral Commission purge 12.5% of votes before somebody gets his money back? If we are not getting our money, say we are not getting it back. If we are getting it back, say we are getting it back. But you cannot put a certain percentage of votes when gotten before you can get your money back. So in a nutshell, the NDC, the MPP don't pay anything for the political process. They don't pay anything. Their monies are all refunded back to them. It is the smaller and minority parties. We lose all the resources we put out there, and the Electoral Commission grabs our money.
Dr. Ayariga, are you contesting your party, for example? Are you contesting in all the 276 constituencies?
Not at all.
How many constituencies are you contesting?
And I'm looking at where I can win and where I cannot. I will not spend money where I know that no matter how much money I spend there, I can't win a seat. I won't waste time spending money there. I'm being reasonable in my campaign strategy. So I'm contesting 35 seats.
35 seats?
Yes.
Right. And then one more issue so that I can bring Mr. Apalu in. I mean, as at the close of Friday last week, 39 individuals and political parties had picked nomination forms, hoping to submit them within the next 5 days. This sudden interest in the presidency, where is it coming from?
It does no interest in the presidency. What it means is that the president, the bar of the president is lower. That is why you see now everybody thinks that if he's a businessman or he's a scammer or he's whatever, he can run for president. So you will now see people running for president, and in all kind of people have now registered to become president. It's sad that the bar of president has been lowered down to anybody can run for president to do business or to do whatever. In those days, to run for president of the Republic of Ghana means a lot. You have to be credible. Now, there's no credibility. There is no credibility in running for president, because even right now, there are people who have committed crimes in various countries, and they are running for president in this country.
And I'm guessing that during vetting of the forms, if those people don't qualify to contest the presidency, they'll be taken out.
I think so. Look, in this country, more money, more brains. More money, you can do a lot of things. They are not looking at people who have more brains than money. They are looking for people who have more money than brains. And I'm telling you, look, I have gotten about 5 of them who are not going to contest in the election. If you look at my filing today, you will realize that 2 people were among us that were independent candidates.
Right.
And 1 had a running mate. And even Jean Mensah was of the view that, whoa, we know you. Yes, when we made mention that our running mate, Reverend Mensah Walayo, is an independent candidate, he said, yes, this is a very intelligent economist who's coming together to form the APC. If you ask Honorable Akwalu sitting down with you, I have reached out to him, and he has agreed that we can form a coalition government. I've reached out to many political parties. We've had meetings severally. But at the end of the day, these political parties could not even elect a leader before the day of nomination, filing of nomination. The CPP, the PNC, the PPP, the FDP, all these parties could not go to Congress. So it was only Akwalu and Gum. I'm sure they went to Congress before this election. Right. But look around. We're 10 political parties that were supposed to form a united front. And so far, out of the 10 political parties, only 3 were able to go to Congress.
All right.
The rest of the so far,
Doctor, just let me hold you there. I'll come back to ask you about your position on the call by the NDC for a forensic audit of the voter register and their current position that they were embarked on a demonstration to force the EC's hand. I'll come back to seek your reaction on that. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is the Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC. Dr. Computer, you're welcome to the pause.
Thank you, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm guessing that everything went smoothly for you today.
Yeah, very well. Well, today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has gone to file. As we speak now, he's with the Electoral Commission led by our able, venerable national chairman, Honorable Johnson Asidun Katia. He led the team to go and file the nomination. As of now, I'm currently at Memphis Central assisting our candidate who was affirmed yesterday by popular acclamation, Joanna Jan Kuju, to file. So I'm currently at our Memphis Central Electoral Commission office to do the filing. As of now, I can assure you all the 276, our candidates are filing all over the country, and then we are ready. We are ready for battle. I can assure you the December poll is up for grabs. All right. What I've seen on the field across the Western region, since I came here about 2 days ago, it's very clear that the NDC is on top of issues. And we are very sure that by the close of the poll December time, we should have clocked 54%. All right. I'm very sure about that.
Doctor, I'll come back to you so that we can spend some time on the call for a forensic audit of the voter register. But let me put that question to Mr. Apal. Mr. Apal, do you support this call by the NDC?
To do what?
For the EC to allow itself to be audited on the suitability of the voters register for the elections?
I don't see why the EC should resist this call. They should give them the database for them to do whatever they want to do with it. You know, the EC should allow them to do whatever they want to. Even if they want to add more numbers to it, the EC should allow them to do it. Because you see, the EC shouldn't pose some kind of posture. So you give them some kind of posture for them to think that EC has some intention to rig the election to favor anybody. Because Ghana's election, you can't rig it. Etienne, you have followed Ghana's election for some time. You know it. That even you, the media, you announce the results. It's not the EC who does that. You just respectfully allow the EC to do the final. Right. But you knew the figures before the EC comes out. So when people are going around saying that somebody is going to rig the election, going to steal, blah, 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 they just want to send some people on the street.
But where the EC itself has admitted that they may have gotten it wrong in terms of the final tally, and even admitted that some of their officers misconducted themselves, some have been suspended, then clearly the need for some kind of an audit to ensure transparency and fairness is key.
That's what I'm saying, that the EC should allow the NDC to bring KPMG, maybe PricewaterhouseCoopers, whatever, to come and do forensic audit that they are asking for, to avoid this hula baloo. Because I don't think it will end to anything. But if you don't give them the opportunity to go into the data, you give them some undue advantage over some of us. Because everybody sitting somewhere may think that, oh, the EC want to steal the election. That is why they are running away from the NDC's request. So the EC should allow them to do whatever they, even if the NDC has some numbers and they want to add, I will support that they should go and add it. Because whatever will happen, they will lose.
But LPG...
we are winning this election.
NDC will lose.
NDC will lose. We will win this election. I can mark it somewhere. I will win this election. I'm the next president of Ghana. Nobody can change that.
Are you contesting all the 276 constituencies?
We are
in terms of the
all the 40,000 plus polling stations. We are going everywhere.
I spoke about parliamentary elections.
Oh, we're talking about parliamentary. Parliamentary, we are contesting 163.
163 out of the 276. Then even if you win, you may not have control of parliament.
But what about independent candidates who are going without the parliamentary candidate? If they win. So, there are two separate elections. The presidential election and then the parliamentary election. There are two separate elections. They are not same.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it doesn't matter.
All right. Dr. Computer, so you met the Electoral Commission last week.
But, Etin, before I come there, Dr. Computer,
yes.
You didn't know that we were watching NDC doing their filing of the nomination today, and John Mahama was not there. So, but he initially said John Mahama was at the place where you didn't get here. So, he should always get information right before he comes to speak.
Yeah, so, Dr. Computer, you met the Electoral Commission last week. You presented your case before the electoral body. They rejected the call for an independent audit of the voters' register. Now, you want to take your matter, or you want to take your case to the streets. Why? The EC says they have their own way of cleaning the voters' register. So this demonstration, according to them, may not be necessary.
Very well. So on Friday, when we met the Electoral Commission, in fact, I was there when we met them, and we showed them the 5 thematic crises that is bedeviling the register. And we made them to understand that this register is terribly sick and cannot be used for a purpose. We demonstrated it. Clearly, nobody needs to tell you that the register is not credible. And they themselves, they admitted, because how can you take 2020 transfers, which happened in 2023, and you added them to the current register by bloating the register, 243,000 of that. Who will accept this? That's what we're telling them, and they saw it. We demonstrated that 243,000 of registers that were transferred in 2020 were added to this current one. That's what happened at Ajumaku, the Ajumaku episode. That is why you saw that some constituencies, their transfer register has bloated to about 5,000, some 3,000, because they have added old data to the current data.
And you don't trust the Electoral Commission to clean it on their own?
Well, we are saying that this current Electoral Commission cannot be trusted. I would not be the person who should tell you that you should trust the Electoral Commission, because I give it evidence. When we did the limited registration exercise, you remember the fake figures they were churning out. We held them to it. Twice, they brought out figures which are all fake figures. They were not correct figures. We corrected them. They went in to correct it and came back with wrong figures again. Since then, have they informed the whole country what is the total number of people registered in Ghana? This is a big question I'm asking you. At Friday meeting, we asked them, what is the figure we are looking at for the December 2027 elections? They couldn't. They were telling me that I should hold on. They are still working on the figures and all that. You and I cannot tell. You can't put your hand on it and say that currently the registered people in Ghana who are going to vote December 7th, 2024 is this figure. Electoral Commission don't have it. How can I allow such people who have messed up the register to be the same people who are going to clean the register? In 2012, when MPP asked for the forensic audit of the register in 2012, why is the Afarjan accepted it? Afarjan accepted it and said, okay, well intentioned. You wrote to UNDP, and UNDP who empowered them, and UNDP accepted it and said, okay, fair enough, let's go ahead. And they did the audit. We went to the election without any problem. So if this time the register is bedeviled with crisis, which evidence we have produced. Look at the special protest list. You just put some security officers who are not supposed to be on special duty on a certain constituency, you migrate them to that thing. Anything we are going to accept it. We said over our dead body, it won't happen. These are the things we are telling them.
So Dr. Computer, are you telling us that what you fail to achieve with dialogue can be achieved with demonstration?
I am saying that we have given them the opportunity to make sure that we have this forensic audit. And we have given them, look, they are not the people who are going to do it. They should write to our development partners. They are ready to sponsor the process so that we can all have on the same level playing ground. That one is very good because they themselves admitted that the register is sick.
Okay.
They themselves, they admitted because they've told me that they are still working with our team when we met them. They are working around the clock to make sure that they clean all this mess they have created themselves because it's the mess created by them. And we are saying that you created a mess. Allowing you to clean it is not the best option. Let's bring an external body to come and help you clean it. So that when we are beating MPP, we know that we are beating them well.
I understand you.
Situation,
all right, let me get a response from the other side. And do we still have Dr. Hassan Yarga on the line? Right, so Kofi Tonto is with the MPP. Kofi, good afternoon, welcome to the Pulse.
I'm here.
Right. So, Doctor, I mean, I'm getting so many questions. Perhaps you can help us, clear this matter up. So, who is this scammer who is seeking to become president of the Republic?
Oh, we know ourselves. And
you mean the scammers?
We know ourselves, those who are scammers and those who are tricksters and those who are businessmen. But then, I'm sure if you look at the terrain and look at the whole system, you will see those who are scammers and those who are serious businessmen and those who are also, whatever. But in a nutshell, I mean, everybody has a job doing. You understand what I'm saying?
But if you know them, perhaps you can be a good citizen by pointing out this scammer to us. Who is this scammer?
Why don't you report the person?
What you need to do is that you have to look into the system. Okay? And then let's look at the credibility of each candidate. Each presidential candidate should be taken into consideration its credibility and all that. We cannot just allow everybody to contest because the MPP and NDC have lowered the bar of the presidency. But there are certain people, when they contest, it will become worse for Ghana's integrity. And that would be a big problem for Ghanaians.
And you know these people. Doctor, you know these people.
There were people in the last election. People were calling Namwan to come around the president. Do you remember?
But he is not
what
today.
Happened to Namwan? What happened to Namwan? Look at what happened in in Liberia. George Weah. What happened with the economy of Liberia? George Weah crashed the whole economy. Are you with me? So let's be very careful the kind of people in our desperation in looking for a substitute to NDC and MPP. Let's be careful we don't also vote for a lunatic.
Now you move from scammers to lunatics.
Yeah, it's the same thing. In Ghana, we only respect people who have money. How they make the money?
My only challenge is that,
the most important thing is that,
my only challenge is that you are not helping us here.
Exactly.
If there is a criminal out there, you should help us to fish that person out.
What is his name? My good brother, Akpalu knows what I'm talking about.
Mr. Paul, are you aware of this lunatic?
In fact, unless we meet and we discuss, because I'm here to know from him.
You don't know this lunatic?
No. You see, but Hassan Yarga, you see the way you love Ghana. If you find out that somebody doesn't fit to be a candidate, I mean, nothing stops you from reporting because you say because there's a condition.
Of course,
there's a condition when you endorse your form.
And I think that, I mean, if anybody falls foul of the rules and regulations, that person will be fished.
Or maybe he's waiting for the person to
perhaps the very reason why you did not contest the 2016 elections.
Maybe he's waiting.
I'm waiting for the Electoral Commission to clear up. Once they clear up, some people will be contested. Okay. Then we will come out and contest.
Hold it there. Let me bring in Kofi Tonto of the MPP. Kofi, good afternoon. Welcome to the Pulse.
Yeah, Elton, good afternoon.
Yeah, and it's always great to have you here. So Dr. Bawumia was the first to present his forms. The EC says that it was the first time in the history of our elections that the sitting vice president was doing so. You confident that things will work out for the MPP in December?
Yes, Elton, let me say is it good evening or still good afternoon? One of them.
Yeah, we'll accept any.
And then let me say good evening to my senior brother, Apalu, and then Honorable Hassan, my senior brother Hassan. And then the other gentleman, I don't know him.
Dr. Computer, Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC.
Oh, okay, Doc. Very good evening to you as well. Yes, Elton, this morning at around 9:20 or so, His Excellency officially submitted his documents to the Electoral Commission as the law requires. He was flanked by his running mates and then also party leadership. It was a sober moment for him, quite frankly, because this is a young man coming from Wale Wale, had no intentions of doing politics, but as God has it, he's gone through the ranks, through difficult times and challenging moments to become not only just a leader, but the flag bearer and the presidential candidate for the biggest political party in Ghana. And so it is quite humbling for him, his family, everybody, and that is why his wife, Her Excellency Hajia Samira Bawumia, was also there just to support and show solidarity. So for us as his team, his aides, all of us, we are very, very hopeful, and we believe that he has a destiny to do more and to lead this nation to greatness. So we are excited, happy, and full of hope that come December 7th, God is going to make way for him to become the next president of the Republic of Ghana.
The NDC, after the presentation or the submission of the forms on behalf of the former President John Mahama by the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Ketia, told the media that even though the EC rejected their call for a forensic audits of the electoral register for December, they'll be embarking on a demonstration to force the hand of the Electoral Commission. I don't know what the MPP position is on the voters register as it is now, and whether this call is in the right place.
As far as our official position, I think I'll leave that to our party leadership to comment on it. But generally, just to make a general comment, I think any political party has a right to express grievances, if any at all. The law makes room for that, and we are practicing a democracy which makes room for persons and groups to express their grievances with any process of the law. And that is why we have the court system, we have the appellate court, we have the Supreme Court, just to ensure that we have at graduated levels of consensus building, to arrive at a point where everybody can agree that, okay, this is the authority of the law, so we can all agree. So there's no harm in the NDC raising concerns, so far as they do that constructively with clear intentions to achieve genuine outcomes for the overall success of the elections. Once that is clear, I don't have any issues why they wouldn't be able to express themselves. We, as the MPP, we've had cause to complain in instances. I recall, as one of the persons who speak for the government and for the flag bearer, at the time I raised issues when they were doing the initial registration, and they said they were only going to open up in the district capitals.
Right.
One of the things that I raised was that there are districts where people have to use a canoe to get to the district capital. There are districts where you have to even enter another district to come out of it before you can enter your own district. There are... Hello?
Yeah, we have some translation, but please go on.
Yeah, so there are instances where persons, depending on where they live in a district, may really have a true impediment to accessing their franchise to vote. We raise concerns about that, as a political party. So there's no issues when people raise concern. But you see, it is about the person raising concerns and the person's behavior or the group's behavior. The NDC's posture, it's quite worrying and sometimes disturbing. And sometimes I ask myself, as a political party, do they take lessons from their own history and their own commentary? Sometimes I wonder, because it beats imagination when a political party that before takes a position on issues and then all of a sudden makes a U-turn and starts attacking the EC as if it's quite worrying. And I would like to end my submission on this with this. This is a comment made by somebody, and I want to read it very quickly. The use of accusations, including unprintable insults, held at the person of the EC chair has become normal. This is unacceptable. But as students of politics, we can see the strategy behind it. Vilify the credibility of the referee in the eyes of the public when you can tell you are losing the match. This creates a platform when you lose, you can discredit and contest the outcome of the match. This is the underlying force for the whining that has taken place against the EC chair. This comment was made by His Excellency, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, at the NDC national campaign launch at Cape Coast Stadium in 2016. This is what President Mahama said about Jim Mensah when people had concerns about Jim Mensah. What changed?
Charlotte Mensah.
What?
I mean, you're making reference to Charlotte Mensah.
Charlotte Osei.
Charlotte Mensah. Sorry.
Charlotte Osei.
Oh, no. Charlotte Osei. Sorry.
So Charlotte Osei, not Jim Mensah, Charlotte Osei.
Yes.
Sorry. Charlotte Osei.
Yes.
So what changed? What changed to the extent that now John Mahama is leading the brigade of attacks and vilification? John Mahama is the person leading it, supported by Omani Buama and the NDC, constantly on the neck of Jim Mensah. So it begs the question, is John Mahama and his party vilifying the referee so to set the stage so that when they lose, they can justify their violence and attacks that they will visit on the EC and the mayhem that they will cause? Is that what John Mahama and his party are doing, setting the stage for what lies ahead? So I'm using his own words.
Right. Kofi.
So in my position, we will criticize the Electoral Commission constructively. Where we find it appropriately, we'll criticize the Electoral Commission constructively.
Right.
And I think every organization has a right to do same.
Absolutely. Kofi Tonto is a member of the MPP. Thank you so much for your contribution to this discussion. So we'll be wrapping up. So what is next for Kofi Apalu?
Yeah,
you are waiting the EC to give you the all clear.
Oh, for that one, we know there won't be any problem with our nomination. But we're on the 21st this month. We are launching our manifesto at Ula Senior High School. And at the same time, we introduce your
running mate
officially to the public.
So what kind of person are you?
Oh, she is Elizabeth Sam.
Oh, the name Elizabeth Sam.
Elizabeth Sam. She's a pretty woman. Yeah, very, very pretty and very intelligent.
Is that the only qualification?
Yeah, very pretty and intelligent. No, our party, that is the requirement, that is the constitution, that if a male is leading, then the running mate should be a woman. If a woman is leading, the running mate can either be a woman or a man. Yeah, that's the structure of the party.
So on the 21st, on Nkrumah's birthday,
yes,
you'll be launching the party's manifesto, and then also adoring your running mate.
And then at the moment, our guys are on the field, they are working seriously, tirelessly, and trying to win more votes for the party.
Kofi, how are you funding this campaign? I know you very well from I mean, I've known some business that you've done in the past and all that, but How are you funding this campaign?
Oh, it's by the grace of God. Yes, because you see, whatever
the grace doesn't pour money.
No, whatever MPP would do or NDC would do with, let's say, $1 million, LPG can use 10,000 to do the same thing. You understand? That's the grace we are talking about, because we don't use too much money to do so much. You understand? We use less money to do so much. Yeah.
And in Kumasi, your base, I mean, are you hoping to cause an upset?
You know, this election...
Ashanti region, let me just broaden it.
I'll win this election. I'll win this election. And where the results are going to, where the votes are going to come from, myself, I don't even know. But I know one thing for sure, that I'll win this election.
Okay.
I'll win. I'm the next president of Ghana. Nobody can change it.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Hassan Ayariga, so clearly you are wasting your time. If what
Kofi he's wasting
anything time to go by.
You should come and join me. Hassan is my brother.
Wow. He's dreaming, and I want him to wake up. Kofi is still dreaming. When he's awake, then we can discuss the issue. He's a good friend. He's a good brother. So once he's awake from his dreams, then we can talk about reality and roadmap to 2024. The 2024 general election is not going to be an easy election, because the Ghanaian people are tired of the NDC and they're tired of the NPP. They are looking for an option, a third force that they will vote. And the problem is that they themselves are adamant in making sure we get a third force. They keep giving us excuses that when they vote for us, we are not going to win. But the point is that until you vote, nobody wins.
Right.
You have to make that step to make that change. And when you make that change, then it will happen. Because if you look at the statistics in the last election, you realize that we had over 70 million voters. When we went to the poll, only 12 million Ghanaians came out to vote, leaving a chunk of about 6 million Ghanaians who do not vote.
Yes.
These 6 million Ghanaians are the third force. They are the people who do not want to vote for either NDC or NPP, and are also afraid to endorse a third force. So we in the APC, we have said, look, do not sit in your comfort zone and think that it's going to be easy for the NDC and MPP to leave power to a third force. They are never going to do that. They are going to fight anybody who is going to be a third force. Physically, financially, propaganda-wise, anything they are going to use to fight us. And the point is that we've seen them. The NDC and the MPP have even shot themselves on the foot. You know why? Because the leaders they are presenting, they have nothing to write home about. There are people who have seen them already. There are people who have ruled this country. So there's no news in them. There's no news if John Mahama becomes president again. It's no news. It's no news if Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia becomes president. But it's going to worsen the situation and the plight of the Ghanaian society when these two people become president. Look, inflation is very high. The suffering is real. The hardship is execrating. The what do you call, the fuel prices are high. Okay, you can look at the issue of natural resources today. Galamsey has taken over the what do you call it, the future of Ghana, and destroyed all our water bodies and our lands.
Yes.
And these two parties are adamant in making decisive leadership to stop Galamsey once and for all. They keep encouraging it. Our youth now have no future. They've turned themselves to gamblers, betting every minute, every second. Where is the future of the Ghanaian youth? Where is the way forward for the Ghanaian young men and young women? This country is in serious crisis, and our youth have no future. The reality is that we are not like the Kenyans, because our youth are confident and fine with betting. So the only thing stopping our young men and women from attacking our leaders and our country is because of betting. If there was no betting in our system, you would have seen our young men and women on the street long before Kenyans.
All right.
You understand? Long before Kenyans. So for me, let's be serious about this country. The youth are tired. And this youth will vote. And I'm still calling on them for us to have a very peaceful, calm election so that Hassan Ayariga and the APC will be elected, and then we'll have a better future. There is no negotiation in ignoring Hassan Ayariga being the president of the 2024 general election. It is in our own interest to make a change. And that change should not be NDC, MPP, or either running to Honorable Akwalu and the others. I mean, it's going to be a waste of time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Hassan Yariga, for your contribution. Do I still have Dr. Computer on Zoom?
I'm here.
Yeah, please, I'll give you the final words on this matter.
Yeah, very well. Let me make it very clear to the gentleman who spoke on behalf of LPP. Under Charles said there was no illegal transfer of voters. There was no time where voters are holding their ID cards and their names are transferred illegally from one constituency to another without their knowledge. It never happened under Charlotte said. There was no padding of data that is bloated of register as we have seen currently. There was nothing like illegal transfer of security officers from one point to another, just in order to gerrymander a constituency, in order to benefit the MPP. It never happened under Charlotte say. So when we are talking about issues, he should reflect his mind back to what is happening now. Under this current administration. You have seen it. Everybody has seen what has happened. The Pusiga episode alone is enough for heads to start rolling over there. How can somebody get into the system of electoral commission and start transferring people's names? Without their knowledge, they are holding ID card thinking that they are voting in one polling station only for their name to be transferred into other polling stations outside their constituency. And you are saying people should fold their arms and just be looking at it. I can assure you, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will come and correct all this wrong. You remember the order we have just launched, Operation Retrieve All the Loot. In fact, the first quarter of our administration, this is what we are going to implement. All the loot, all the bank account in those the thieves who have stolen Ghana money, we will retrieve those monies. We will make sure that we will go after them and retrieve the money for this country. That is Ghana money they are using like that. You saw it. Everybody is seeing the corrupt administration, the corrupt activities going on in this country. And we are not going to relent on that. We are assuring Ghanaians that that operation will come to fruition as soon as we are declared winner, and I can assure you we are winning this election.
Right.
Whether they like it or not, all they are shenanigans, we are winning this election. That's why we are telling them. It's good for them to allow the forensic audit of the register so that we all know what the extent of damage they have caused for this election, the registers. Otherwise, as my venerable national chairman, Johnson Asedo, has stated, we will rock this country with some massive demonstration they've never seen in the history of Ghana. I'm telling you.
All right.
We will mass people and them demonstrate and go in and flood the Electoral Commission 24/7. And they'll see that this country belongs to all of us. It doesn't belong to a section of people. And we are calling for the right things to be done. That is what we are calling for.
All right. We'll continue.
That is what we are looking for. We are not expecting anybody to help us or cheat for us, as we are not going to cheat for anybody. We are not also going to cheat in order to win this election. We want to win the election clean, on clean sheets. That is why we are calling for this credible register. The right thing must be done. All heads must be up. And then we have no problem in this country.
Dr. Rashid, Computer, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So we'll end this conversation here. Kofi Apalo with the LPE. Kofi, thank you so much for coming through. Yeah. Hopefully this is just the start of many more to come as we head towards December. And of course, you also heard Dr. Hassan Yariga with the APC and Kofi Tonto with the MPP. We're going to take a short break. When we return, I will take you to Wale Wale, where the parliamentary rerun has been characterized by violence, arrest, and all manner of confusion. We'll have the very latest on this election. Also, if you are also a keen follower of football, the Ghana Black Stars, they are playing Niger in Morocco. Currently, the match is just 14 minutes old, is 0-0. I'll give you more updates as we progress. But there's live commentary on Joy 99.7. We'll take a short break and return, and I will take you to Wale Wale. This is The Pulse. Welcome back. This is The Pulse here on Joy News. Now, we are still in the election headquarters. Let me take you live to Wale Wale now in the northeast region, where 3 persons have been arrested after confusion over the presence of heavily built men known locally in Ghanaian parlance as macho men accompanying the incumbent member of parliament to the voting center. You recall, this parliamentary primary is taking place after a court in Tamale ordered a rerun over an earlier dispute between the two candidates. The main challenger, Kabiru Mahama, and the incumbent Hajia Lariba Zuwera Abudu are, contesting the rerun. Ilyasu Tanko is our man on the ground there, and he joins me via. So, Ilyasu, is voting over?
The place is a bit noisy, but if I can hear you, you are asking whether or not the vote is over.
Yes.
And there's still about nearly over 30 people currently still in the line waiting to cast their ballot. So we still have a number of voters currently in the line trying to go and vote. And so, yes, the voting has not ended. From our sources, organizers of this particular election are anticipating that the election process are likely to go into the night because after the voting, they will have to sort out and do the counting and then declare. So organizers are looking the elections to go into the night.
Why? I mean, there's a few people voting.
Can you come again?
I asked why the voting is going to the night. No, even that the number of people voting are not even up to 2,000.
Well, there have been a number of concerns or issues since this particular process started in the morning. First of all, it was built to start somewhere around 8 or 7, but it started a little after 10. And then also when it started, there were a lot of confusion. First of all, Dr. Kabiru reported or had concern that the venue was changed without his notice. And so there were talk over it, and that was resolved. And then also there was another incident of confusion that also delayed the voting a little bit when the youth suspected that there were some foreign materials in a vehicle belonging to the deputy secretary of the MPP in that particular region. And so they requested that the vehicle should be searched. There was confusion, but later on the police was able to search the particular vehicle. As we speak, we still don't have official confirmation what was found in this particular vehicle, but our sources are claiming that there were staff ballot papers in the vehicle. Others are also claiming that a catch or large weapons, quantity of weapons were found in this particular vehicle. As we speak, the police have piled the vehicle to the municipal police headquarters where they are continuing investigation. And then just after voting had resumed after this particular confusion, there was another confusion when the incumbent member, of course, the controversial incumbent member of parliament came to the voting ground with a number of heavily built men, locally called macho men. Their presence also ignited some confusion because supporters of Dr. KB resisted and a number of people were beaten. The military had to come in and then 3 persons were arrested. We understand all these supporters of Dr. Kabiru. He's taken up the matter. We understand he has visited the police station to talk with the police to understand on what basis his supporters were arrested. So these are some of the reasons that we understand are delaying or have delayed this particular election.
Yeah, and these allegations we cannot prove as of now, but the arrest, what resulted in the arrest?
We understand they attempted to prevent this particular macho man or macho men from going into the voting ground with the member of parliament, the incumbent member of parliament. So there were some exchanges of fisticuffs, blows were exchanged, and then the military and the police had to come in. And so that resulted in the arrest of the 3 persons who are currently in police custody.
So clearly, the atmosphere is very charged.
Kindly come again, sir.
So I'm saying that clearly from what you are telling me, the atmosphere in the constituency is very charged, especially around the voting area.
Well, the voting area is highly restricted, even for members of the media. As we speak, The whole of the morning, we have not been able to access the voting center. It is restricted areas for the media and even voters themselves, because they have to stay outside. They are cleared before they go closer to the voting ground. As we speak, we still don't know what is happening where the voting is entered, because we are not allowed to go in and monitor the process. So in terms of what is happening where this particular voting is happening, that is the Pentecostal Church building in Wale Wale, we cannot report because we have been denied access to the voting ground.
And whose decision was it to prevent the media from even covering what is going on?
Say again?
I'm saying, whose decision was it to prevent even the media from recording or covering what is going on?
Well, nobody is ready to take responsibility for preventing the media, but mostly the decision came, as we understand, came from the party hierarchy. The Northeast Regional Chairman is here, the Northern Regional Chairman is here, and a large number of other executives.
Right.
So even though nobody has personally claimed responsibility for this measure, we understand it is coming from the hierarchy of the party in the region.
All right, Elias Utenko, thank you very much. But we'll keep an eye on this matter as voting is now underway at Wale Wale in the Northeast region. This is a rerun of the parliamentary primary based on a court decision. Now, away from the election headquarters, next week it will be a star-studded gathering at the British Council for the Joy News and amalgam of professional bodies organizing a public speaking event on the theme Transformed Individuals Transforming the World, a challenge for the religious community in Ghana. And the speakers will include Dr. Philip Engman, Dr. Mrs. Yvonne Yenchua Iseku, Ambassador Umar Sanda Ahmed, Lieutenant Colonel retired. Main speaker is Reverend Dr. Joseph Kofi MP. In the studio with me is Dr. Philip Engman. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So why this?
Well, it's just a public discussion on the events that are going on in the nation and maybe in the region as well, and to look for solutions if there are any issues that are bothering people.
So in terms of focus, what exactly are you focusing on?
Well, the title looks a little bit like the Great Commission in the Bible.
Yes.
That Jesus spoke about. And so the modus operandi, the method that Jesus spoke about was individual transformation. One shall tell another, and so on. Each one reach one. And so that is the theme of the program.
So really, what for you is the challenge facing religion in Ghana? That perhaps there's a need for a broader discussion on it.
This is a huge question. It's a very, very huge question. The issue of foreign religions also came with cultural dominance. And once you lose your culture, Okonkwo, things fall apart.
Right.
Chinua Achebe said the white man is very clever. He used his religion to put a knife on the things that held us together. And now we are falling apart. And so the religions that came kind of transformed us so that now we are looking very British and we are looking Arab.
Yes.
And that is very expensive on the pocket.
Exactly.
You see, and sometimes it then becomes difficult to find a way out of the economic quagmire in which we find ourselves. You know, there's a link between your original identity and prosperity. You know, and it's something that we are not hearing a lot about.
But where we sit in a society where the African religion, for example, is viewed as devilish, backward, and for that reason, it has been replaced with a religion that is considered more holier. Is this what you are seeking to demystify?
Yes, I mean, the subject is a huge subject. It's part of it. The Europeans came across the seas with two C's.
Right.
The first C was to Christianize, and the second C was to civilize. And so they came with an idea of white superiority, which means black inferiority.
Yes.
And so they demonized anything and everything. It's not only our African religion, it was the entire culture, even the skin color, everything about the African was wrong and bad.
Right.
And we see that those effects still, people are attempting to bleach. Why would a person want to damage their skin?
You want to look like the white man.
I mean, why?
Exactly.
You know, why would a person want to put, those days the women will put hot combs on your scalp?
Yeah.
You know, and this was normal practice. You know, just to straighten the hair and all that. And that's, as I said, it's very expensive. You know, so the damage to the culture has been significant, and the effects are still ongoing today. It's affecting our economy, it's affecting our pockets. We're all looking for solutions. We are blaming our leaders across Africa, Gen Z, and so on, but then we are doing exactly the same thing they are doing. And so you see a situation where, you know, you change the leader, you know, you pick a revolutionary from the group, you say, well, leaders are bad, and then they get there and they do the same thing. You know, if we say that the African leaders are putting monies in the banks, we are supporting European businesses, and we are derelicting African businesses. You know, so there's no way we can prosper with this mindset and with this feeling that unless we have something of Europe, unless we have something of the Arab world, we are not complete. There's a deep problem somewhere inside. And that was the damage that was done by the foreign religions.
But even as we speak, there are those who are of the view that looking at how our economies has been mismanaged, I mean, it is even better if we still have colonial rule. So clearly the mindset hasn't really changed much.
Yeah, the mindset is, I have to say that colonials or the missionaries, both the Arab and the European missionaries did a very good job. It's deep down inside. You know, people actually believe they are European and they actually believe they are Arab. I mean, I'm told there are places in Nigeria where there's, you know, some Nigerians feel they are more Arab than others, and that's also another issue. You know, and all of these things are dividing us as a people. You know, we need to understand that we are African first before religion.
So this public lecture is seeking to do what? To get us to bring our minds to that consciousness that is about time we break off this chain of, you know, European and Arabic domination in our way of life.
Okay, so we have a main speaker and three discussants. So I'm one of the discussants, and these are some of my personal views on the issue. The main speaker will be looking at the issue of morals and how we can attain or re-attain a certain level of morality, because expert historians tell us that our level of morality was far higher before the white man came. You know, he came to give us Christianity and so on, but he also brought his culture of atomization, individuality, of selfishness, and so many things. A lot of people don't know that Danish was bombed. The British bombed the entire place, you know, in 1854 or so. That's the kind of culture they brought.
Right.
You know, so it will be seeking to talk about this morality and how to attain it. From three perspectives: from the Christian perspective, Islamic perspective, and from our own indigenous culture, because we had our own cultural values before, you know, these.
So is it your thinking that perhaps we should go back to take some of the things that we used to do that we may have discarded?
Absolutely. There's no culture that is 100%. I mean, throwing away twins or babies or something, deformity and all kinds of... There are certain things that are not, but certainly there's a lot of good things like respect for elders and so on and so forth. These are things that are depreciating. So there's a lot of good in our culture. And we need to understand that and not just imbibe everything that is coming from the West and from Arabian or Arabic culture.
Countries. Okay. So when is this public lecture and who is invited to come?
I think it's the
17th of September. That'll be next week.
Yes, so it's open to the public. They are invited to come and listen and then participate.
And admission is free?
Admission is free, yes.
Okay, and obviously we'll be live on Joy News and of course Joy 99.7.
Right.
Dr. Philip Engman, thank you so much for coming through. And I will look forward to this public lecture on the 17th of September.
Thank you very much.
Right, so folks, we'll take a short break and return. This is The Pulse. Well, that's our show for today, Monday, but there's so much stories on myjoyonline.com. Free SHS, send your word to private schools if you can afford it. That's President Akufo-Addo to those who say that they can afford to pay for their awards. So why government give them free education? Election, I say during Katia Fowles nomination on Mahama's behalf, there is a deliberate effort to label my family and I as corrupt, President Akufo-Addo at the ongoing Ghana Bar Association meeting. Well, folks, that's our show for today. Whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope it's profitable. For those of you following the Ghana match against Niger, it is Ghana 1, Niger 0, goal scored by Ali Duseidu in the 44th minute. There's live commentary on myjoyonline.com. LTS is up next on Joy News. My name is Elton Bro. See you tomorrow, same time.